What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And with that collaboration last year, part of a team that reached out to over 100,000 fathers and dads around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on December 4th. Yes, holiday season is in full effect. And our new friend that we're going to be chatting with in the next few moments, he says she has a store on top of all the other things that she is doing. I rocked back in my seat going, do you get any rest? But she'll tell us. So today we're doing another great episode of Black Canada Talking. Black Canada Talk is an online event that provides Black Canadians the opportunity to give their takes and POVs on stories that are of importance to them. We also showcase Black Canadians that you all should be knowing about. So our new friend today on Black Canada Talking is Jackee Kasandy. She is the founder and CEO of Black Entrepreneurs and Business Society of Canada, the BEBC acronym. She's a co-founder. She grew up in Kenya, spent time in places that don't have electricity or water. She moved to Canada and started her business. But because she had a lack of credit history and capital, she couldn't get loans. Lots of people, Black Canadians, can relate to that. So you should be watching if you're a Black Canadian business person, whatever level. She had to max out her credit to launch her retail business and relied on subletting her rented apartment through Airbnb just to get by until she finally built her business. Her business now does more than $500,000 of revenue. Hello? $500,000. Another reason you may want to be listening and watching this, either live or in replay. She would not be much further ahead if she would have been further ahead if she had access to loans or grants or investment early on, but she was considered unfundable. I think some people have heard that message too. She helped start this. We're talking today about this pitch contest that she has started. Now, just a little background about the Black Entrepreneurs and Business Society of Canada. It's a nonprofit that's here to help Black Canadian business people, entrepreneurs especially. They want people to partner with them, and they get people to partner with them, and they connect them with community leaders who will meet their needs and expand their networks and scale up their business. So today we're going to find a little bit about her, a little about the organization, a little bit about the pitch contest. Now I'm just going to say a little teaser about the pitch contests. They are saying that it's streamlined and simple. It's not one of these pitch contests where you have to, and I'm going to use their wording here. Many other pitches often require lengthy business plans and months of work for entrants just to successfully apply. And they say, because most Canadian Black businesses are micro enterprises, most owners simply don't have the time to go through a lengthy process to get started. So I could read more about it, but I'm not the star of the show today. We have this smiling, wonderful person that is the star of the show today. Jackee Kasandy, what is up? How you doing?
Good. How are you, Dr. Vibe? Very happy to be here today.
Outstanding. I am outstanding today, and glad to have you. And I know just by reading some of that, everybody can tell this lady has a lot on the go. Actually, I missed something to do at the beginning. I'm not even going to get to it. We're going to focus on you. So How has the day been so far?
It's been busy. It's been a really busy morning. It's already 2:00 here. I think it's the end of the day for you guys. And I still have a long day to go. I'll probably work until about 10 p.m. today.
Only?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me ask this question now, because we did it when we went on live. Do you take time to rest?
I do. During the holiday season, it's harder, but I do. I have a regiment where at 10 p.m. my phone goes off, so you can't reach me. Even if someone was dying, I'll find out in the morning. No one.
And even you won't even take a call from your mom?
No.
Oh wow! Does she know that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. As long as she knows, that's important, because you wouldn't want to shock her like that.
No, she still tries to call. It just won't go through, and so that.
That's That's fantastic. I love it.
So she
Oh
still
my
calls,
gosh.
she still gets upset, but she still knows that when it's 10 p.m., my day is done. I need rest and I won't see it until 7 a.m.
Excellent. Well, we always do this when we have friends for the first time on any of the platforms that I host. We
Mhm.
need to get a little bit more about your background because you are not originally from Canada. You're from Kenya. So we want to hear about some of the life in Kenya before you came to Canada.
Oh, that's great. I've been in Canada for so long now. This feels like home. I grew up in Kenya. I grew up in the western part of Kenya. My grandmother, my grandmother was deep in the village. I lived in a tiny little city. And so growing up at my grandmother and my mom's place, at least where I lived in the city, we had electricity and flashing toilet and all that good stuff. Tiny. But at my grandmother's, we had, pit latrine and no power, no nothing. Like it was darkness. We loved the days when the moon was out and it was full and we could play outside at night because it was nice and
Yes.
bright. And everything was planted and grown there at home. And it was really, really a good upbringing. So I lived at small town life. Most of my vacation outside of school was at my grandmother's and with my cousins and all of that. And we had a blast. We didn't have the joys and the ease of everything we have here, hot water in the shower every day. We didn't have that. You had to go and get the water and boil it and then shower, and you had to do that every day. So it was really interesting but because I lived in the city and I went to boarding school, I did also get used to having electricity and water, running water and all of that good stuff. And I moved here to Canada, to Toronto, actually, when I was a young girl. And I lived in Toronto for a while. I went to school, I worked in advertising, and then I decided it was too cold. I am from the tropics. So, I ran away from Toronto. I'm like, you know what? I know I came to study and do all of these things, but Toronto is too cold. So I moved out west.
Okay. Want to cycle back a little bit. Was it was it difficult leaving Kenya?
That's a really good question. It wasn't. It wasn't for the simple reason that I went to boarding school when I was 7 years old. So I became independent very young because in the Kenyan system is the British system. So you were in school 9 months of the year and 3 months. So in between, you had the 3 weeks vacation that you come home. And that just teaches you to be really independent. So you end up not feel. And then after I finished school and I started working, I started to travel, going to different places. And that just made me feel free and independent. So coming to Canada wasn't that bad. And by the time I moved, communication was even easier then. So it wasn't too difficult to hear from home and all that good stuff. So it wasn't that hard.
Wasn't hard leaving home, but I'm sure is there any part of you that misses home?
Yes, I miss the food and the laughter.
Well, you have such a great smile, so I can see the laughter is just part of your core. You have such a great smile on you.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. I have a big family and we're so close and dramatic. I just miss all that chaos of our family that is just beautiful drama. We love each other so much. We're so close. My mom and her siblings are really close. All of our cousins, and there's lots of us, we're really close and we're always together. So I really, really miss that. I miss the laughter just involved in that. And everyone is like a comedian. And they don't even intend to be a comedian. They're just funny. They don't even think that they're being funny. And so I miss that, and I miss the food. When you're growing up, you take for granted the food. I went to boarding school and I hated some of the food. I'm like, why do I have to eat this all the time? And then you move out here and you realize how great your food is.
Nice.
Now it's all I want. It's all I want is the Kenyan food and the Kenyan spices.
Wonderful. How much of family is still in Kenya?
Everyone. It's just me here.
How is how is it for them and how is it for you? You're
They
like you're
don't
a lone
care.
soldier. What?
They don't care. It's so annoying. I have tried. They don't
Hold
care.
on a second. They don't care?
No, they're very annoying. They do not care. I have tried for so long. I'm like, I just need one person to move. And then my sister moved November 2019. And then COVID happened. And then COVID ended and she went back. I'm like, what? I need one person. One person. They don't care. My mom is like, there's more of us here. So you come every year. That's it.
Oh. Okay,
And
mom.
she did, and my mom is she's a village woman. She came to
Yep.
visit me when I was in Toronto, and I had graduated from school, and she came during Great Pride, and that really killed her. She's never come
Mm,
back.
okay. All right. Enough said. Uh, your mother, you've mentioned her a number of times.
Mhm.
How much does your mother mean to you?
I would first go with my grandmother. I don't know if you can see her.
Okay.
I can see. Can you see right here on my show? On my
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this no the other way.
Yep.
The other way. The
That's
other
all
way.
right. I got it. Yeah.
There you go. That's my grandmother. She died at 104. She's the
Oh, my
matriarch.
condolences.
Oh, no, no, no. She was ready to die. She was ready to die by the time she was 80. She had lived her life and she was like, why is God waiting? But we all needed her still for the longest time. So she lived a fantastic life. She was the wisest woman that I know. And she had never gone to school, but she was wiser than all my uncles and all their PhDs and all of us with all our education. She was the matriarch of the family and she taught us all what to do. So my mom is from that same cloth, and I feel like I'm from that same cloth. So from our families, it's the women mostly that are entrepreneurs and in business and all of that stuff. My dad was this quiet, shy guy, and he never interfered with anything. My mom was just the one doing all of these things. And so my mom and my grandma will come up more because they were the entrepreneurs and they were the people that I fashioned myself after.
Wow. Why did you choose Canada?
That was really interesting. I didn't intend to. So when I decided I wanted to go to school, I had UK, US, Australia as my options. And I decided not to go to the UK because my education in Kenya was all British. So I'm like, what's the point of going to British university? I might as well just stay here. And I'd already done my first part of learning education. I decided not to go to the US because I swear Americans think that they have a dream, but the dream doesn't exist. It exists for the 1%.
Okay.
Everyone else that I know there has 3, 4 jobs and it's just a slog to get to the American dream. So I was like, okay, maybe that isn't great. And then I had an option for Australia, but Australia seemed too far from home for some reason. I just thought it was too far. And so I applied to Canada, and one of the schools I applied to was so efficient in their customer service. They called me in Kenya, they led me through the process, and their brochure was beautiful, and they were right in downtown Toronto. So I was like, that's where I'm going. That's how I ended up here.
Do you remember the first day in Canada?
Yes,
Tell us.
I froze so bad. I almost went.
Was there any thoughts of saying, did I make the right choice?
I called my mom 2 weeks later because I couldn't stop shaking. So I arrived the last week of December. It was sunny outside, but it was like minus 15 or something.
Yeah.
Coming from Kenya, where it was really
Yeah.
hot, even though I prepared myself, I wasn't prepared. And so it didn't matter how many layers I put on, it didn't matter what I was wearing. I was so cold. I was sitting on top of a heater and I'm still cold on top of a heater. So I remember calling my mom and I'm like, I don't I don't know that this is gonna work. I don't think that this is a good idea. I'm so cold, I'm freezing and all of this. And my mom said, I've never known you to give up though. So you have to decide about that.
Mm,
Ding, ding, ding.
I've never known you to give up. Strong words.
And it worked. It worked. The next week I was in school and I was doing just fine. I bought a men's jacket that was like this thick. The sleeves were longer than my hands and it covered all of me. And I
Do you
got,
do you still have that jacket?
yes, I will have it
You
forever.
know that if you ever come on again, or if we ever meet, I have to see that jacket or
You
take a
will see it.
picture.
It's the
Okay.
one thing a nephew of mine, actually, he's 14. He saw the jacket. He said, this is so cool. Can I have this? I said to him, I'll give you everything in my life, but not that jacket. This is my memory. This is my memory. I need to keep it.
Yeah.
I was walking around like a penguin because I was a really little young girl at the time. So the sleeves were longer than my hands. It has this huge hoodie. That like every part of me was covered. It was amazing.
Covered.
Yeah. That's
Covered.
the only thing that kept me warm when I went to school.
So after you graduated school in Toronto, what was the next part of your journey?
I graduated and a week later I was working in advertising. So during my education, One of my professors was a vice president at a big advertising agency. And I was like, I think I like this. And I was just inspired by her. And so she's like, yeah, you can go and do an internship. So I was like, this is great. So I applied and I graduated like on a Friday, on a Monday. I think when we did the graduation, the next Monday I was already at work.
Wow.
And so I worked in advertising in Toronto for 5 years.
What experiences from that 5 years do you carry on with today, if any?
I had really great clients that I worked on. One of the clients was Low Blows.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes.
yeah, I was there when
The
they were
Weston
launching.
Group. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Weston Group. And I was there when they were launching the Blue Menu line, the Joe Fresh style. I was part of that group. And so that was really great learning. And then when I moved to the next agency, one of my biggest clients that I was a part of was McDonald's. And as part of being one of the biggest advertising accounts in the world.
Of course.
And during that, I was involved in the process of launching the McMinis, the Angus Burger, and all of that. And that was really, really good experience because it was from A to Z. So advertising is a small piece of marketing. It's an important piece, but not the full piece. Working on the McDonald's account allowed me to do A to Z of a product launch from zero to the launch. And I feel like that's the best education that prepared me to be an entrepreneur.
When did you decide? Okay, so what made you leave Toronto?
It was too cold.
Okay, so when you left Toronto, why did you choose Vancouver?
Because it was warmer than Toronto.
I love you, just straight matter of fact. Now, when you left,
most people have beautiful stories. I moved for love.
You straight to
no. My family
it was warmer.
There. I was just like, no. I can't.
Yeah,
do
but I know. Recently, you got some snow. I know that.
Yes, actually,
I know that. I have a very close associate in Vancouver who told, and we speak every week. You got some snow.
We do have snow, and I'm very mad about this. I'm really, really mad about this because that's not the promise I had of Vancouver. We're only supposed to get a flurry of snow on Christmas Day. That's it. That's the deal I signed with Toronto. But the last 3 years, because of global warming, we've been getting snow.
Yeah.
And it's been terrible.
Okay. When you left Toronto, did you have employment or did you go to Vancouver, without employment?
Well, I've been lucky in my education and in my work. So when I stopped working in Toronto, when I came to Vancouver, I didn't have a job yet. I arrived at the beginning of June, and by the middle of July, I already had a job at a Crown Corp. So it's never really been a difficulty for me in terms of getting employment, just because of my education background and what I've done.
Is there a book coming? I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
I'd have to get a ghostwriter because I think I have an interesting story, but writing
is. Hold on. You think you have an interesting story? No. You have. Sorry to discourage.
That's kind of you to say, but yeah, I've lived a good life. I want. God has been good.
All right. So let's move to the organization.
Yes.
Let's get some background on this organization, the who, what, where, and why. How did it come about?
So this organization, I have been an entrepreneur for 8 years now. I have a medium-sized business here in BC. It's doing well. And then COVID happened.
Hold on a second. A medium-sized business with $500,000 of revenue. Okay, you go. Continue on. Okay, good for you. Go on now.
I'm still aiming for it to be a big business. Right now it's to me medium. Anyway, so COVID happens, and when COVID happens, we all know that Black entrepreneurs were the hardest hit because most of our businesses, not my business, I'm lucky because my business isn't small. Most of the we have micro enterprises within the Black entrepreneurship, Black founders group, because most of the time we lack access to funding, and we lack access to funding, then you have to keep a job, a regular job that is helping finance your gig that you're doing as a business. And so when COVID happened, people lost the jobs that they had, which was supporting their businesses, which means they were double hit. And so when COVID was ranging down, and then we heard about the Black Entrepreneurship Program that the government had put together, my first question was, who's we? Because I'd never seen any data anywhere that had said, here's the number of Black entrepreneurs that exist in these locations. Now, having worked in the Crown Corps a little bit, I was like, how are they going to apportion that money? Are they going to say it's apportioned by percentages depending on how many Black entrepreneurs? They hadn't announced anything. They just said, this is going to come down to support Black businesses. So I very quickly tried to figure out who was we, because I needed for our MP, Dr. Fry, to find out how many of us were here, and for that information to get back to the federal government. Within the second week or the third week of forming this organization, I realized there was 315 Black businesses in BC. And I was like, wait, what? I thought there was 8 of us. What do you mean there's 215? And so very quickly went around. There's another 300 in Manitoba, in Alberta, and so in very quick succession, in about 3 to 4 months, I realized that there was almost 1,000 of us in Western Canada. And I just wanted the federal government to know. So our MP, we met with Minister Ng, we met with I just needed everyone to know. This is how many of us are here. This is how many people need help. Just so you know, as you're coming up with policy and as you're coming up. And out of that, given my background in business, given my background in marketing and all of that, it just made sense to figure out all the things that I needed as an entrepreneur that I couldn't get. I knew that all of us needed. And the first thing we did was do research from the membership that we had, the people that we had discovered were there. And very quickly, we found out the top issues that we needed. And out of that, we created the initiatives that we have on our website. And we've grown so fast in the last 2 years. We have done so much. We've been in front of almost everyone. We've been at every table that we need to be. And our biggest thing is to advocate for Black businesses. So our initiatives provide services that Black entrepreneurs and founders need, which is great. You know, we support people to get funding, for example. We support people. We're going to do a lot of things with procurement and all that good stuff. But what is closest to me about the organization is advocating for us in the government and with the financial institutions for systematic change. We know if policies that are coming don't include us in the criteria, we won't qualify, because there's a lot of programs that the different governments, provincial governments, federal governments, even cities have put together to support small businesses. But most of the time, Black entrepreneurs and Black businesses don't qualify because the criteria eliminates us. But that's always because none of us is at those tables. And so what I want to do with BEBC, or our goal, is to make us to invite ourselves into those tables. So if the policies are being put together in any way that when they're coming up with criteria, it's not criteria that ends up eliminating us, even though they didn't intend for that to be the case.
I have a mental page full of conversation questions for you. So we're going to go up the mountain. So
okay.
From the time, when did you come up with this idea? Do you remember when you came up with this idea?
Yes, it was a September, and it was in 2020. We had just we had now gone back into the world. We could now be at the stores. We were still all masked and all of that, and all the data was coming up about how many businesses were shutting down, and I knew people whose businesses were shutting down, and the government had announced so many programs for Black businesses, and many of us were not qualifying for some of them. And I was like, but this is not fair. And then the day the government announced the BEP loan, the next day I launched this organization.
What was the first day like?
Well, it was just me at the beginning.
Wow.
And then I made calls. I made calls to people that I knew and that had different expertise than I did. And I volunteered all of them into the board.
You know what? I think you're very smart, because you know, with that smile, you can get away with things. I'm going to leave with that.
If you talk to all of them, they'll tell you that. They'll tell you, Jackie called us and she said you should come on the board, and they all said yes. But I think they believed in what I was trying to do. They believed in the course. They're all Black. They're on the board. One is an economist, was at Deloitte at the time, and like each of them has really specific skills that I said, let's come together and do some legacy work that's going to change the Black community. Let's try to build wealth through entrepreneurship, because all of us are entrepreneurs and we have such great skills from our background in our corporate worlds. How about if we took that and put it back into the community and brought us all up together? And they were like, yeah, sign me up. And they have worked so hard. We meet every week. It's the hardest working board I've ever been on.
Testimonial.
They're great.
What was the first in the organization's journey? What was the first big win in your mind? What was the first big win that you had?
The first big win was having a meeting with Dr. Fry, who is our member of parliament.
Hetty Fry, yes.
Hetty Fry, she's fantastic. And presenting this information to her and her looking at me and being so surprised at the number of businesses I was bringing in front of her. And very quickly, her office made a connection for us to meet with Minister Ng's office. So that was the first entry point into the local and the federal government to just say, hey, here we are. And even if nothing else happened, just the fact that I was able to let the government know that there was this many Black entrepreneurs that needed help, that you should know we have data, we have numbers, emails, and this is the number. That was a huge big win, because then at that point, they could have data they could work with, because we all know if there's no data, the government isn't moving on anything. So just getting that data to the government was helpful. It was a big first win.
You said, it sound, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like you did a survey?
Yes.
What valuable, I'm sure there's piles of valuable information you got from, what was some of the valuable insights you got from doing a survey?
Well, the bigger thing was just the problem with access to funding. And that one we know, every researcher said that. The second biggest issue was access to professional services. You know, you have a small contract, you're setting up an organization, just access to lawyers and accountants and advisors and all that. It's very expensive. Let's say you saw this tiny little tender with the city, you want to tender for it. Now they're giving you 132 pages of a contract. You need a lawyer to look through that.
Lawyers ain't cheap. Lawyers ain't cheap.
Yeah. And so if you're a tiny business, you're a micro business, you're bootstrapping it with the job that you're doing, you don't have $5,000 to pay a lawyer to go through all of that, and that delays you. That eliminates you from going for big contracts and stuff like that. So access to professional services came big right after the access to funding.
Okay, I want to drill down a little bit deeper about the whole funding challenge.
Yeah,
can you share your thoughts in regards to funding, and what do you feel are some meaningful solutions in regards to the area of Black Canadian entrepreneurs and funding?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I decided this when I was in school. So I decided this when I moved here. After the first year, I was writing a business plan. I was still in school. I'm like, I'm in Toronto. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. And I came from a country where we were not a debt society in Kenya. In Kenya, it's a cash. If anyone has a house, they saved up money and they built the house themselves. There wasn't mortgages, there wasn't any of that. So I didn't come from a debt society. I had never had a credit card. My first experience of having a credit card was me in school, and TD came and they had a little table and they were giving out credit cards, a $500 credit card. And I was so excited. I felt so adult. I'm like, I have a credit card now. I am such an adult. I can have a credit card. But when they give me that credit card, no one ever told me how credit card works, or how you should pay, or what a statement for the credit card means, how you should continue to make sure you're not over the limit of the credit card. You just think, oh, I can over the limit, I can pay a little bit, and then I'll finish paying, and then I can use it again. But that actually screws you up. You don't know that it's screwing you up. But when I finished school and I moved to BC, I shelved all those business plans. I continued with my career here on the marketing side, and I did another 7 years. But after the first 5 years, I rewrote a different business plan because I was really keen to start my business. And I was in the corporate world. I had climbed the corporate ladder. I had saved up some money. I was good with my money. I wasn't that bad with my money, actually. So I saved up. I started my business. I was like, okay, so now I'm going to work myself into not working so I can do my business. I did. It worked well. I went to Kenya. I brought stuff. I started to do my business. Now, I had saved my money. Not a bad thing. But when you're starting a business, you need at least, depending on what business you're doing, you need at least $100,000. That goes so fast. By the time I was like, wait, I need all of this money. There was no one to give me money. My credit score wasn't bad, but no one could just trust to give the money. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't like stellar up there, but it wasn't bad. But I didn't have any home. I didn't own a house. I didn't have a car. No, I had a car at the time. But most places, when you want to go get money, the first thing they ask you is collateral. Many of us don't own homes, don't have parents that own homes. I'm an immigrant. And so that just kept setting me back. I'm like, okay, but I've rented all of this life. Shouldn't that count? But that doesn't count. And so that just became difficult. So then I realized I needed to move to another tiny home that had an extra bedroom, put it on Airbnb so that I could have, so the Airbnb took care of my rent and my car and my food, so that all the money I had saved up and maxing out all of my credit cards could build the business. And I went to an organization that actually helps fund women businesses. And they helped me. They're like, okay, you need to do this business plan. You need to do this cash flow projections. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Even though I had done a business plan before, I did all of their process. I did all of their cash projection. And they get to the end and they're like, no, we still can't give you a loan. You need to have been in business for 2 years first. I was like, wait, how do I get to 2 years if I don't get funding now? Those two things didn't connect. But so I realized I needed to bootstrap. The very first time I was ever able to get a loan was 4 years into the business, and only because of my car, and I could only get $30,000. This is 4 years. I'm already a successful business. Even now, as a successful business, I could not walk into the bank right now and tell them I need $250,000 and they'll give me. I have a successful business.
Yep.
Right?
I hear you.
I have to prove myself as a person. I have to prove myself as a business person. And then I have to prove my business before I can actually get funding. And that my story is the better story out of all of us. Because the rest of us, you took that credit card, that 500 credit card, it screwed up your credit score. You didn't even realize that. And then onto that, I was an international student, so I didn't have student loans. But a lot of people here have student loans.
Student loans. Oh, yeah.
You got your student loans. You only have a car. You don't have, and it's an old car, and you don't own a home. You're completely unfundable. Even if you went to the bank.
Yeah, you're wasting your time going near a bank.
But the worst part, actually, the thing I found out later that icked me the most, and that's what I want to change, is every single bank you walk into and ask them for a loan, they check your credit score. And when they check your credit score, you lose points. So you don't know you're losing points, but your credit score just keeps getting worse. So you'll go in with a credit score that was good. You go to Scotia, they say no. You go to another bank, they say no. You go to another lending institution because you keep trying, they say no. Each of them, you're losing 10 points.
Yep.
So you had a good credit score at the beginning of asking banks for money, and now 6 months later, your credit score is awful. So now you have to wait another 6 months and build it back up before you can go to the bank and get it.
While your business can't afford that 6 months of not getting their financial.
Correct.
Wow.
It's a cycle, and it's a cycle that I aim to completely break. So I am working very hard. I'm forming really good relationships with the banks. I just want the system to look at the criteria that they use, and also be outside of that, build our own system, build our ways of funding Black people and helping to build and to create wealth.
So let's do a reset here. We're speaking with Jackee Kasandy, who didn't like Toronto because it was too cold, then moved to Vancouver, but they have snow in Vancouver too. So I don't know where she's going to go to next. She's a co-founder of the Black Entrepreneurs and Business Society of Canada, Black Canada Talking. And just a quick little thing here, just talking about myself, the Dr. Vibe Show vote for the Dr. Vibe Show in the best Black Canadian podcaster category at this year's By Blacks People's Choice Awards.
Nice.
All you need to do is go to the link that's there, buyblacks.com/PCA/vote to vote. And the thing is, if you're watching this, it goes from now to the end of this year. And you can vote every 24 hours. So after, I'm going to say, Jackee, can you share this with your community? Because I'd like to win, because I'd like all of us to win.
Exactly.
So
yes.
just putting it out there.
And I'll vote. I'll vote as well.
Well, share vote as much as you can. Share it with your peeps out there. Would love to have a West Coast representation in a large way.
Excellent.
Let's talk about the pitch competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's talk, because when I got the information sent by Jeremy, who's doing a great job making this, I said, okay, how is they're saying this is different? So how is the pitch competition different?
So here's how the pitch competition came about. I do a lot of one-on-one mentorship coaching with a lot of our Black businesses, and every single one asks me, are there any grants I can apply? And the answer is always no. There's not a single grant you can apply for. And the ones that are available are very small.
I want to interrupt, Jackee, right there. Businesses running on grants. Let's talk. I purposely want to get your thought process on that before you move forward. So let's talk about that. What are your thoughts about, because I advise a lot of micro business myself, and I say you can only do so much on grants.
There isn't enough, and you won't get it, and you can only do so much on grants. And even if you went out to look for it, most grants are $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. Rise Up gives $10,000. The rest of them, you have to be in an accelerator, and just one person will win a grant. It's very, very rare to get a grant. And if you cannot be a business that is living on grants. It's not sustainable. It cannot be done. And the process, our application process is the simplest application process for a grant. All the other grants take a while. You end up spending way more of your time looking for and applying for grants that you definitely will probably not get instead of running the business.
How did you achieve this process? How did you make it different than other offerings?
So,
and how have you made it different than the offerings? Because when I read this, I go, okay, I got to question this young lady about this.
Excellent. I am glad you're asking. So the only thing you need to do, if anyone is going to the Black Pitch Contest, BEBCSociety.org or BlackEntrepreneursBC.org, and you go to the pitch contest, it's right there on the front. The application process will take you 7 minutes at most. And this includes
7 minutes.
At most, just the application form. The only thing we require is someone create a video of themselves talking about their business, basically their business. Just pitch your business for 2 minutes on video. It can just be your phone on a selfie, and you can just tell us about you and your business, why you're passionate about it, what $25,000 will do for your business. That's it. That's it. You don't get to do anything beyond that. We don't require any financials. We don't require a business plan. We don't require anything. And it can be anyone. It can be a 12-year-old kid who's looking to do this different business. It can be a 64-year-old guy who retired and now they want to come back into the world of business to offer their wisdom, consulting or doing something. It can be anyone and any business. All of us can apply to it. Well, I can't apply because I'm BBC. Anyone can apply to it and anyone can qualify for it.
That sounds so simple.
It is very simple.
It sounds so, I'm going, okay. And there's no catch.
There's no catch.
Okay. Because so we're gonna show. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. We wanted to do this just to break the norm, because right now, Black founders and entrepreneurs, we don't qualify for much. And it doesn't make sense for us to say, here's a grant, you can enter to do a grant, and then ask you to perform the same dances you'd have to perform if you go to apply for other grants. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't differentiate us, and it doesn't actually help us as a community. There's no reason to do that. The pitch contest was, we went and fundraised, we got money, We have $25,000 to give away. Anyone can qualify for it. You just need to be a legal resident. You need to be at any age. You need to have a business idea. It can be a new idea. You can be already be in business for 15 or 25 years. You can be almost retiring. It doesn't matter. Any business stage you can apply, and the loan is like that's the form you're showing there. It's so simple. The only thing is just you upload a video. That's it. And we're telling everyone to create a video, put it on unlisted on YouTube, give us the link, and that's it.
So a number of questions. Is this a grant, loan? What is it?
It's a grant.
Okay. How many people have you had apply already approximately?
About 30.
That's it?
Well, yeah, because a lot of people were worried about how to do the video. What do I need to put?
Oh,
How
okay.
do I have to do the video? So we had this info session, and it was a full hour, and people had questions. So, are you expecting this? Are you expecting this? So there's a lot of doubt because we don't have that much confidence in ourselves and our businesses. And so that has scared people. And so I'm doing everything that I can to tell people it doesn't matter. Just put your phone up and talk to it. Talk to me like you talk to yourself.
We need to chat. We need to chat offline. I think I can help you with that. In fact, I don't think I think I know I can help you with that.
Excellent. That would be great because honestly, it's open to anyone. So and I say there's nothing to lose. Just apply. And anyone who applies, even if you don't win, you still get all the services for BEBC. We're gonna showcase all of these businesses. Even if you don't win, we're still gonna showcase all of these businesses. We're just gonna bring more eyeballs to your business and hopefully bring more clients to your business.
How many grants are you maximum can you give out, or do you know that yet?
Well, right now we have a confirmed one. We are aggressively fundraising right now in the hope of giving out 5.
Have you had any applications from people outside of BC?
Yes. Oh, yes. The whole country.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to be totally honest, until Jeremy reached out to me, I had no idea about this.
I know a lot of people don't. And I've been on CTV in Toronto. We're doing ads. So I've figured out that in our Black community is talking to each other like this, that people get to know about it because we are not in the normal channels of media.
Yeah, I think, again, we'll talk offline. I think there's some opportunities to getting it to more individuals.
Excellent.
Out there. So, and I have put the pitch contents information, the bit.ly link is on the screen. So no excuses, at least go take a look and then make a decision and take action.
It's $25,000 on the with no strings attached. That's it. You get the $25,000. We support you after that, day-to-day running of a business, whatever you need. BEBC has a lot of different initiatives we've got on, but there's no strings attached. It's just $25,000 like that.
Where were you when you came up with this idea?
It was beginning of last year. And no, not beginning. Is it beginning of last year, 2021? Either 2021. The Rise Up pitch competition had gone and I had applied for it and had gone through the process of building a business plan and doing all of this. And then I was told I went into, I don't know, did I go into the second level? I can't remember. But it took quite so you had to do the business plan and then you had to meet with someone. You had to, like, those quite a bit you needed to do, which is great. But 800 women applied. One person got $10,000.
Of course.
but they had to do the process. Yeah. And so I was like, I really, really appreciate this. But I said, I am so busy. I am running a society. I'm running my own businesses. I do volunteering. I am really, really busy. The process of going through Rise Up was pretty long. So I'm like, but that works. They've put it there for a reason. I think that's great. People get help in doing business plans, in pitching their businesses. I don't begrudge any of it. But I thought, how can I do it differently? And how many Black women, Black people have actually ever really won grants, like grants that actually make an impact on your business. You winning $1,000 or $1,500 is great. It will pay the tax, but it doesn't actually really impact the business.
Yeah,
If
it doesn't
you
a lot. It
have,
doesn't make your business move forward a lot.
yeah, if you're Classic Juice in Toronto, you want to expand, and all you need is one bigger juicer, $25,000 will give you that juicer. Suddenly you're able to scale. You have enough juices to put in grocery stores and all of that.
Create revenue. Create
Yes,
revenue.
I wanted it to be an amount that will help create revenue, as opposed to a small amount that will make you happy, that will pay back down a little bit of the loan, but it doesn't actually really help you create revenue. So that's where we wanted to start. When we went to talk to our corporate partners, we're like, we want a pitch contest that starts immediately helping a business create revenue.
It's good. This is good. This is
We're
good.
doing our best. We're doing our best. And we want this to be annual. And if it all goes well, we want to be doing $100,000 every year of giving away.
Fantastic. Let's talk about an event that's happening next year.
Yes. The
The
Black Beach Summit.
Yes.
Black
Talk
Beach-
about it.
This is great. We had it this year. It was great. There was 700 people that came on. It was all virtual. It was so well done. And it's an annual one. We have it. During Black History Month, we do remember a lot of things in history, and there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of celebration of being a Black person and our history. What I wanted to do, what BEBC wanted to do, was to end Black History Month with a look forward to how we create revenue and make sure that even though we're making sure that our history is not forgotten, that we're doing better for ourselves in the future. And entrepreneurship is one way to create that wealth. And so the Business Summit is specifically to introduce Black entrepreneurs into the larger ecosystem. You know, the bankers, the people in the government, the EDCs and BDC, and everyone that we as Black businesses or as small businesses need to get to know and get known, because there's a lot of services that we can get. And there's a lot of ways in which we can be suppliers to the government. For example, we're going to have Procurement Assistance Canada. They're going to hold a session and a mentorship where they tell us, how can we get to procure for the government? The government is the biggest buyer in the country.
Of
the
course.
biggest.
Yep.
And so how can, and they were with us last year. They sponsored us last year. They're going to sponsor again this year. I want to bring to the Black community, to the Black entrepreneurship community, everyone in the ecosystem that has impact on our businesses. And that's exactly what happens. So everyone you can imagine, the trade office, the export development, BDC with the loans, the financial institutions, everyone that we get to touch as we do our businesses, I want to have closer introductions for our members, so that everyone who comes to and attends has a better understanding of A, what's out there for them, B, how to go about to get it, and C, how can we expand our customer base.
So is this conference, next year's conference, virtual also?
Correct. So next year it's virtual. It's February 24th and 25th. This year we had it on one day, on a Thursday, but we realized that our businesses, people still have regular jobs and the business.
Yes.
So we split it into 2 half days. So it's going to be on a Friday and a Saturday. So we're going to have the government people fill up the Friday, and it's important. It's very important for us Black businesses. The government is the biggest buyer, as I said. And then on Saturday, we'll have the last keynote speaker and the mentorship session. It's a really good day. Fireside chat with the minister and all of that stuff. So we split it into 2 half days instead of 1 full day.
How much planning does it take to pull one of these off?
I cannot tell you. It is a lot of planning. It's so much planning, but it's so great. It's really, really, really great. I'm so proud of just bringing us. Like I want our stories celebrated. I want the government and the rest of the people to know us, to know our businesses, to know who's there, because we impact the economy. I have 9 employees. I'm impacting the economy. I'm impacting the labor department. I mean, in the taxes that they pay and I pay, like we're impacting the government, and the government needs to know, and we need to celebrate our impact on the Canadian economy. And these kinds of conferences and these kinds of seminars actually allow for that to happen.
Outside of the funding piece, what do you feel, or what are you hearing from Black entrepreneurs are their biggest challenges? Money is always, I always hear the money piece, but what other challenges are you hearing of?
Well, there's some challenges I'm hearing, but most importantly, there's some opportunities that Black entrepreneurs just don't know about that are there. So right now, the biggest issue for all of us is, how do I get more customers for what I have to sell? And if I'm a consultant, all of that. And I'm like, guys, the government is the biggest buyer, but there's not a single Black, actually, maybe there's 1% of Black businesses that are certified that can do business with the government, whether it's city government, whether it's provincial government, whether it's federal government. That's one of the biggest missed opportunities for us. And so BEBC has set a foot to change that. I want as many Black businesses as possible to win tenders with the government and supply to the government. It doesn't matter whether it's soap or it's coffee or it's consulting services or it's seminars you're going to give. I don't care what it is. Anyone, I want you, Dr. Vibe, to be a consultant with the government and do facilitation, or be a host, an MC or some. All of us, I want us to supply to the government, because there's a lot of money from the government, and the government wants Black suppliers, but there's no way for them.
That's the thing they want, but it isn't there. So there's a disconnect.
Yes, there's a disconnect with us being prepared and being able to supply.
So I want, if I can interrupt there, what are the disconnects that we have to work on? Because people say government this, but you know what? There are things that we need to do. I called it, we need to, instead of playing checkers, we need to play chess.
Exactly. So if you go on our website and you go to the Black Business Certification Program, people can read there what we need to do. We at BBC have undertaken the process of getting our businesses cleaned up, because before you tender to the government, you have to have a specific list of qualifications, whether it's
business number.
You need to have a business number, a CRN number. There's a wraparound that needs to get done for our Black businesses before we can procure with the government. And so that's the work that we're going to do. So we are undertaking the process of figuring out all the Black businesses in Canada, what stages we are in, and what everyone needs, so that we can get them cleaned up and get them into procurement, like directly into procurement. There's so much money to be made. Right now, all of our businesses, you could be doing muffins, and all we do is we're trying to get regular customers and competing with everyone. The government has so many conferences that they host. 3,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people. You supply for that one. You're just muffins. Supply for this one conference for 3 days. It sets you up for the whole year.
Yeah.
And so how can I get more Black businesses there is what keeps me up now.
Do you find a lot of the time your organization spends is to educate?
Yes. We do so much educating, but beyond educating, I think there's a lot of us, Black organizations, Black serving organizations, that do a lot of educating. But what we are doing, and I think what sets us up apart a little bit, is we don't just educate you. We hold your hand and walk you through the process, because it can be overwhelming. I can have presentations, I can have links, I can give you all of that, but it's hard. It can be overwhelming. But if anyone comes to BEBC, and I want everyone to come to BEBC and says, hey, I'm interested in procurement, I'm interested in selling to the government, I want to hold their hand, not let go, and get them from point zero to point C into the government procurement.
Out of curiosity, does your organization have any collaborations with any other of the Black Canadian nonprofits that are doing this type of thing?
So we have relationships. We haven't collaborated on actual specific programs yet, but I have really good conversations with Ryan, CBN, with BBI in Nova Scotia. We've got even here locally. So I have relationships. We have relationships with other Black serving organizations, but we haven't done a project together yet, because all the Black serving organizations, all of us have all of this, and there's so much need in our community right now. So everyone is just doing what they can to provide education, to provide mentorship, to provide coaching. So everyone is just kind of rolling on that, much more than all of us coming together and going, what programs and what projects are we doing together? Like right now with the summit, I would like all the Black serving organizations to join us. I would like to give free entries to several Black serving organizations and their leadership and their people to come to the summit. And I would like for us next year, when things have cooled down, to actually all of us sit together and go, what program can we work and collaborate together with all these other groups? So I have relationships with a lot of Black serving organizations, but we haven't yet collaborated on specific programming.
What is, in your mind, the biggest challenge your organization faces at this moment?
I think, as you've noticed with the pitch contest, is having the one-on-one connection with our Black businesses so that they know that this is there for them. Like we have a list of 1,500 businesses. We've been emailing everyone, and we are doing social media and all of that. But we know in our Black community, word of mouth is better than advertising. Me talking to you or talking to another Black serving organization or Black team, and then you going to tell everyone, hey, this is here, you should apply. Then it makes a difference. When I was doing an info session, one Black guy who's mentoring a group of Black entrepreneurs told them about the pitch, and then they all came and applied. They were like, we didn't hear about this. Can we apply? Is this still on? And so I think the biggest hurdle right now, and especially originating from the West, because a lot of Black serving organizations are in the East. So originating from the West is really making sure we're breaking through to where our community is and letting them know that because we're in the West and there's not that many of us in the West, I feel like we have a better leg into the government, into the different programs that we need, which means we have resources that we can help with. And so it's getting in front of our Black members, our Black community, and going, hey, here's resources, and you don't have to pay a single thing for it.
What are you excited about?
I am excited about a few people winning the grant and it making a difference, and for us to track them and see how their businesses grow. I am excited about the pitch summit, the summit coming about, the Black Black Business Summit coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing deals happen from that. I want us within each other, us with the government, with financial institutions, with insurance companies, everyone who's going to be there. I want people to come out of there going, wait, I can get deals. I have people I can contact. I have ways in which I can get deals and I can get more clientele.
How many hours of sleep you get a day?
I try to get 6 to 8.
Okay.
I go to bed at 10.
Good.
I go to bed at 10.
Good. Excellent. Anything else you'd like to share with our audience today?
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful conversation today. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Vibe. And for the audience, join us. Like, we have so much that we can offer for Black entrepreneurs and Black businesses, and even just the Black community. Join us, tell everyone about the society, and it's completely free resources for anyone who wants to get into the pitch, to get into the summit. Let us know. So the summit has a cost, but I'm going to talk to Dr. Vibe. I'm going to give Dr. Vibe a deal.
Okay. All right. Okay. So first of all, thank you for your time and everything you have, are, and will be doing, you and your team. And big love to your family back in Kenya.
Thank you.
Very important. So everyone, here's all the information. Here's the information for the organization: website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Next up, here's the information for the pitch contests.
Yes, click on that. Do it,
you're
people.
Good. You're good to go. And then here's the link. And I think it's maybe the same one. I don't know, but you know what?
It's the same one.
Okay, it's the same one. Yeah. So there you go. So that's for the summit, though. I think the summit is a different link. But no.
When they go on our website, both of them are there. So there's a block for the summit. There's a block
Okay,
for the pitch
hold on.
contest.
I want to just correct this. I like to make sure I don't like to lead people wrong. So let me just make sure I've got the right. Okay, hold on. It's generating. Okay. So correction, everyone. People are going to get mad at me now. You made wrong information. Well, I'm correcting it. So I'm going to take off because that is the wrong link for that. So I'm going to change it right now and show the correct link. So this is how we do things in real time. Here.
Thank you. I
There.
appreciate you.
Okay. This is the correct link for the summit.
Yes.
That is the correct.
Thank you.
But if you go to the pitch contest, you're going to be on the site anywhere. You're going to look around you're going to see what's going on. When you go to the website, it's all there.
And it's a beautiful website, guys. So go check it out.
Yeah, well, we showed it to you. If you're watching this live on replay, you saw what it all looks like. So that is it. So thank you so much. And I have a feeling we're going to be chatting more before 10 o'clock your time every day. I remember not to contact you. And you know what? I have to give Jackee full props because I called her and she picked up the phone.
It was before 10 p.m.
Yes. And just a message out there. One of my mentors who is very successful in real estate in the United States, one of the first things he told me is, Dr. Vibe, give good phone.
Oh.
So I know we live in a digital world of text, email, all that. But another mentor a long time ago told me, if it's details, text is good. If it's emotions, you call or do that FaceTime thing.
It makes a difference. 100%.
It does make a difference. So thank you so much. We'll be in contact again. Have a good rest of the day.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Be well. All right, everybody. So don't get mad at me that I put up the wrong link. I corrected it, but you'll get on the website and you'll get all the information that you know. So I'd like to say thank you for everybody who took the time to watch this live or on replay, or who took time to listen to it on replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. So a few last things before we call shop today. So first things up, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, either on YouTube or like it on Facebook. I would prefer that you do like it on YouTube. I'm 20 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And also, once you do that, hit the notification button or bell, because if you do that, that means every time I post an upcoming conversation, you get notified and say, how did I miss that? Or how come I didn't know about that? As Jackee said earlier, one of the challenges we have in the Black Canadian environment, people aren't plugged in. Information, you know, so that's one thing we have to do. Next up, you can vote for me in the best Black Canadian podcaster category at this year's buyblacks.com People's Choice Awards. Go to buyblacks.com/PCA/vote to vote. And you can vote every 24 hours until the end of December 2022. And just another thing, just a huge plug out, buyblacks.com is Canada's Black Canada's number one online magazine. Number one. SEO wise, they are listed in the top 120,000 in the world. So absolutely very important. Next up, you can watch replays of this epic conversation called Black Canada Talking on my YouTube page, on my Facebook page, on LinkedIn, and also you can go to the website www.thedrvibeshow.com. What else? Is there anything else we want to share? Oh, other thing. Would you like to promote your business or service on our show? You can contact me at dr@thedrvibeshow.com, and we'll certainly promote your business and or service to people who are interested in your business or service. So I think that's it. I think we've covered everything today. So this is how we close out our epic conversations. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect, and remember to give yourselves grace. So vote for me, follow me. I mean, follow me digitally. Don't follow me around. No, I don't need no stalkers, right? So vote for me on the buyblacks.com People's Choice Awards, and especially on YouTube, follow, because when I hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to have a little bit of jam session digitally, and you can come on, ask me questions, etc., and we can have some fun together. God bless, peace well, keep the faith, and walk good.